Michael Branco, mayoral candidate.
Can you talk a little bit about why you decided now was the time to run for mayor?
A couple reasons. So out of the existing council, 5 people were retiring. So that was Mayor Gosling, and then Councillor Harvey, Tucker, Swan, and George Scott. So most of them have done about 14 years in office. And so that left space in the next council. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to step up to run for mayor. If this opportunity had come up a year ago, I probably wouldn't have actually gone for the position, but the timing's perfect. So it's a little bit of right time, right place. And, looking at the existing councillors that have stayed on, Ms. Brimmer, Ms. Keynes, Mr. Brown, they also felt that I was the best candidate to come from the existing council and move up to mayor. My favorite thing with Hamilton is, as you walk around the city, and my wife always jokes with me. I mean, for 20 years as I've walked around, I stop to say hello to everyone, and she says, "My gosh, you could be the mayor." So I blame her for this now, but it is the heart of Bermuda. And so it is where we all come together for work, for play. And so that's the part I love the most is seeing everybody. Like this weekend, I walked through North Hamilton for 6 hours. And I'm a regular in North Hamilton. I eat there. Back in my younger years, I used to socialize there and party there. I don't do that anymore as I turned 50 this year. Again, you can just talk to any walk of life in Bermuda in the city. So that for me, it is the heart of Bermuda. And that's why it's so important that we have to continue to run it well and help businesses and people within the city thrive, because ultimately that helps Bermuda.
And what are some three things that you hope to accomplish should you be elected mayor?
So the easy one for me, for those who know my background as a technologist, is when I look at the city and looking at smart city initiatives, I want to be more responsive to the users of the city. So for example, when we were canvassing the North Hamilton residents yesterday, even if we canvassed weekly, some of the information we receive wouldn't be received in a timely manner. So what I would love to do is create better communication channels with the users of the city. So that would be, WhatsApp community chat groups, maybe a ticketing system, so that when you come into ask for something in the city, like, hey, a street light's out, we give you a ticket number, and then that way we can track our own performance. And so we've actually done that in just the short time that I've been a city councillor. Our IT manager has rolled out an AI chatbot on cityhall.bm. So that's one of the smart city initiatives that we've done just in the last 9 months. So I'd definitely like to see that. I would also like to do more to bring nightlife back to the city. And that would be twofold. Working with North Hamilton and getting more of the Court Street markets in place. So we've done 2 or 3 of those in the last year. I went to the one that was in July, and it was great. I mean, they had a jerk chicken barbecue, competition, and we had some tourists come in, and I think it's on us to bring more business into North Hamilton, so that we can help that area thrive. Because if we get North Hamilton thriving even more, that just helps the city overall. And then, it's almost cliched, but to talk about the waterfront, that is a big project. And for decades, we've talked about how we want to change that from parking lots to more of an alfresco style waterfront that everybody can come to. And I don't think we can do that overnight. And I think we have to do that incrementally. And one of the first things I would like to do is take a Friday night, shut down from the Birdcage through to Pier 6, as we've done before for the Taste Festival, and allow the restaurants to extend out al fresco style in front of their establishments, and invite North Hamilton food vendors as well to take up spots within Pier 1 and Pier 6, and then have, in essence, what I would call a mayor's night, where we start to experiment with having more and more on the waterfront on Friday or Saturday night. And, it's a little bit of a template from Harbor Nights, which is more vendor focused, but make this more food and beverage and socializing. And then I think as we learn from that, then we know what we can do for waterfront projects moving forward, and what will resonate, and where the investments should be made. I'm very focused on the city. I don't have a national agenda, but what we do well in the city helps the country. And I think, trying to get more and more people in to stay there and spend would be great. I mean, just within the old team, I would say there are probably 4 good mayoral candidates. And then the great thing is, what you look at is the team that I helped put together for the new council. So we have Miss Brimmer, Mr. Brown, Miss Keynes, who stayed on from the old council. And then I was able to ask Mr. Barnett from Island Restaurant Group, Tony Thompson from Gibbons, Mia Chambray, who ran against me in July, Lloyd Holder, Mark Pacheco, and all to kind of join the team, which when you look at that, nobody contested them, but what an amazing lineup of the next generation of the council. And I think that will help us moving forward, because now you have a group on average is 20 years younger than the last council. And I think you have 8 potential mayors just within that group moving forward. So I think we'll see that. But I think we can go back and look at the Municipality Reform Act and add to it. I would love to come back to the House together with the government and expand that to fix what I think needs to be fixed with the voter roll. Add things like city rangers, so that we can work alongside Bermuda Police Service to help with any unsocial behavior that's happening within the city. Taking something like the parking enforcement officers and expanding their capabilities, and also having the ability to collect our parking fines directly. I've had some great meetings in the city council on all those topics, and it's all possible. And I think we could put it all in the reform and go to the House together to then help upgrade what we can do in the city. For me, as I spoke to the residents in North Hamilton, I had obviously not spoken to them before because I was a business counselor. But many of them made me promise that I'd be back regularly. Right. And I, particularly for the gentleman who had a codfish breakfast, I told him, look, I'll be back every Sunday. But it's the accountability piece. I think if you're appointed, then you're not accountable to the residents and the users of the city. Where if I do a bad job as mayor, guess what? I'm out. I'll get voted out. And so I think this is actually the right mechanism to have for both cities.
Why should residents and business owners vote for you as opposed to your opponent?
So with me, as I've proven in my previous election for the business counselor role, I'm a Bermudian entrepreneur. I understand what businesses need. I've built businesses within the city. So I can definitely be an advocate for businesses across the city. I'm new to the residents, but I'm a very down-to-earth guy. I'm very inclusive. I'm loyal. And so with me, you get both. You get the business and the dedication to the residents in North Hamilton. And that is what I'm out there, pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, and introducing myself to people who don't know me. I really want to see the city grow and thrive.
Elmore Warren mayoral candidate.
The oligarch thinking doesn't believe I understand business in the halls of City Hall. I don't understand budgets. Why is that? Am I not educated enough? Or do I look like I don't have that ability? Or is it geographically because of where I come from? Either way, the thinking is wrong. But the fact is, He can't cross the line like I can. He can't speak to the real of how we're going to solve our problems, which is the bane of existence down Front Street. He can't do it. I can. So if you vote for a person just because they don't look like me, you vote for a person because he went to Ivy League and I went to Churchill, then you deserve everything you get. Don't come calling when the government comes to take your kitty. Don't cry foul because you had the opportunity. And I'm going to tell you so. You had the opportunity. Now when I blast you and laugh, it's because, oh, you simple minds. You were all caught in your own ideology about racism, discrimination, geographical politics, geopolitical discrimination, right? When are we going to put it aside? When are we truly going to put it aside? Because until then, you'll never have right leadership. You'll never have right leadership until you put it aside. Because it hasn't been tested that way. So I know I am that bridge that can show people, one, you can have right leadership. The second thing I want to do is nurture more people like me to be rightful leaders. Because that's what Bermuda's lacking. Examples of good leadership.
So someone may say that in the former council comprised Larry Scott and George Scott, who were lifetime KLP members, and Nicholas Swan, who was obviously John Swan's son. So, one might say that the council did have people from different backgrounds.
Okay, so what's the point of your question? I don't understand what you're asking.
Listen, that they can work together.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. No. Let's okay.
Reach collaboration from different political backgrounds.
Okay, understood. We have always, since after Prohibition, segregation, desegregation, that was the plan. They let us sit around the table, but they still held the penny. We all could have the conversations. But it doesn't mean you're really running the show. That's different. And you have to look at what you're allowed to actually put in. One of the things that Charles made it clear is that there's a quid pro quo attitude inside the corporation. There's a quid pro quo attitude inside the corporation of Hamilton. That's Charles Gosling himself telling me this. Right? If he doesn't vote one way for what Keynes will want, then the rest of the guys may not vote this way for what this will want. The rest of the guys will vote this way for what this will want. And so he's got to agree to things on the agenda that he may not necessarily feel is correct, but he's going to do because he wants something done. Well, if all the things that he wanted done were done in the interest of the people, why are there still so many complaints if they were right things to do? Or make the quid pro quo for. I'll do a quid pro quo. I'll do one. But I better see the damn results that it's going to benefit the people. So when they say, hey, Elmore, why did that get done? Well, because of the minuscule thing that was, look what I accomplished with this. Right? Did you enjoy? Are you enjoying? Is it right? Yes, it is. Not for my own personal selfishness, not for my own personal gain, but it's the fact that those for the righteous deal. Right? So if we can't make those type of deals, then there's no deal. There's no deal. Because I'm not doing it just because of my will. I'm doing it for, I got 3-4 different points that it's got to hit. The user, the owner, the business, the tourist, the local, right? That's the litmus test right there. We got to always be looking at those things to say, what percentage is winning there? What percentage is losing? And is it going to be affordable to lose that percentage?
And you talked about this a little bit, but what can be done to bring more tourists into Hamilton and have them spend more money in Hamilton?
You need retail. You need diversified shopping. You need cost-effective shopping. Remember, at the current level at this point in time, you're literally, it's expensive, and you're really only, most of the people you've got are cruise ship visitors. They don't spend a lot of money besides on some water.
Because they can get everything on the cruise ship.
They get everything on as part of the
their
thing,
package.
right? But I will say this: there's also the look, right, that we can increase some of the things in the areas that are not being paid attention to. The youth are really not being paid attention to. They're considered a pain, but the youth spend a lot of money in the city, right? So I have a plan for that. Like, it's all sorts of things we hear. I know they're looking, right? He wouldn't have said that because he doesn't, right? But I know they're looking, but you know what? I can't worry about them. I know I'm the best candidate. I got the best vision. I got the best ideas because I've done my homework. But when I speak to it, I could unpack everything that I speak to. He can't. He'll say, this is what we're looking at. I can hit the ground running and execute something.
And you mentioned the plan to bring more young people in the city. Can you expand on that?
Well, not at this time. Not at this time, but in such time.
Okay.
Yeah, not at this time. In such time, because like I said, they got Satan's spies watching.
Okay.
So I have to, gate myself a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give away my intellectual capital for nothing.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else that you think our readers should know ahead of Election Day?
And people really need to know that if you don't come out, you're unable to have the type of influence that you want. Right? So first and foremost, you got to come out, you got to vote, regardless. Don't be disenchanted. Take a chance every time because you never know. You might just pick the right guy.
How was turnout for absentee and early voting?
Very low.
Okay.
But there wasn't a lot of people actually going away at this time. It's not the going away time for Bermudians.
Right.
They're all preparing for the season coming up. May is just around the corner. Who's going away from retail? Who's going away? The money's not even been flown. It's winter time.
And
It's not a busy time to go away.
what was early voting? Like senior citizens?
Just people who are going away, seniors who are going away.
Oh, so absentee and early voting is the same thing?
Absentee early voting is the same thing.
Okay.
No,
It was
but
two
we don't
separate
have.
days.
We really don't know that day does not exist in the fullness. They said that, but I found out that no, it doesn't. That has to be arranged way beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, and nobody signed up for it.
And that was early or absentee?
That's
early.
What it means on the voting registry. It means that people who were invalids, who couldn't come out, who were doctors ridden, in order for you to make that vote happen, you had to have a doctor's note. You had to have a doctor say you're incapable of coming to the polls in a wheelchair. You had to do all that ahead of time, and then they make it happen. But I would have to be there, or one of my agents would have to be there, because you got to verify the vote, right? So that stuff didn't happen. But the opposition, he thought that, it's going to be this vote tomorrow, and our people, because we got a couple of people or whatever. No, it's not happening, bro. It can't happen like that, right? So knowing the rules is one thing that I've been digging heavily into. Just knowing the rules. Like, people just haven't been knowing the rules. They haven't done their homework. But I'm a guy. I'm a researcher. I like to know the facts.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.